everybody, thank you for watching. In today's video, I am going to be talking all about color correcting. In my last video, I had mentioned possibly doing this type of video, and it seems like 99% of you wanted to see it. So I wanted to sit down today and go through everything that has to do with color correcting. So for those of you out there that have never heard of it, or for those of you who have and are just a little bit confused, hopefully this video will help you out. I did recently get a new mic, so I have that plugged in, and I threw blankets all over the floor to try to get rid of that echo, so hopefully this video will be a little bit better. So I do apologize, the echo has been annoying in the past couple of videos. I do everything myself. I film, I edit, I do lighting, I do sound, I do everything, and my previous two places that we were in had carpet, so I never ever had this problem before, so bear with me while I try and figure it out. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the different colors, what they're good for, and then I'm going to show you all the colors in action. So I did run to the drugstore this morning so I could pick up a color corrector. That way I could do half of my face drugstore, half of it higher end. That way I can kind of, for myself, test out and see if there is a big difference between the products, and then also for you guys so I can suggest whatever is best for your budget. So I'm going to go through and show you some of my favorite products. I'm going to explain each of the colors, and then I'm going to show you the demonstrations. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about color correcting, please keep watching. So for all my beginners out there, the number one thing to look at when you are trying to learn about color correcting is the color wheel. So the color wheel is going to explain everything. Whatever color you're trying to get rid of, you look directly across the opposite end, and that's going to be the color you use to cancel it out. So if you guys ever get confused in the future, make sure to just Google it, and you could see this picture pop up for your own sake. It's so easy once you actually look at it. I'm going to go through each color now and just explain which one does what and what I like to use each one for. So first I'm going to talk about the bright orange color. That one is my personal favorite. What the orange color does is it cancels out the blue tones underneath your eyes. So if you guys have really dark circles, or if you have like that blue purpley tint underneath your eyes, the orange will help immensely. That is the color that I find myself using the most. I never use the bright red, I prefer the orange, but if you have a darker complexion, darker skin tones, the red can be used in the same area to help really get rid of those dark circles. Before I go any further, I just wanted to mention, before you do any color correcting, there's a routine that I personally recommend to help keep your makeup looking really smooth and not cakey, because sometimes when we add color correcting, it's adding another layer to your routine. So if you're not blending it right, or if you're not doing it the right way, it can look a little bit more cakey, it could dry up on your face. So what I personally recommend, and what I've been doing for a really long time now, is I always wash my face every single night and morning. So before I'm doing my makeup, I'll wash my face. After I wash my face, I will use my moisturizer. The one that I'm using currently is by BADESCU. So I will always apply the moisturizer, and then I go in with my primer. So the primer that I've been using, and the one that I love, is Pores No More by Dr. Brandt. So every single time I'm doing my makeup, whether it's in the morning or at night, I always do the same thing. I wash my face, I apply my moisturizer, and then I apply my primer. There's a few reasons that I do this, and I just want to explain for the beginners out there who maybe don't understand, or for some people who maybe don't do this every single day. The reason that I like to wash my face beforehand is because you're removing anything from the night before. So at night I like to apply my serums and everything like that, so you're washing off all of the excess product from the night before. Also, I believe makeup goes on so much better when you have a nice, clean, fresh face to start with. I love applying a nice moisturizer, because the moisturizer is going to really help lock in the moisture on your skin. Then you apply the primer. The primer is going to act as a barrier to protect your skin from the makeup. So I definitely recommend doing those three things before you go apply your makeup, especially with color correcting, because it's going to help, again, give it a more even, perfect, flawless look at the end. So after the primer, that's when all the color correcting and concealing comes in. People get confused whether to apply concealer before or after foundation, and my tip for you guys is to apply the color correctors and then to apply concealer just to cover pimples or anything like that before the foundation. So the only time I use concealer before my foundation is if I have a pimple and I want to cover it. Any concealing as far as dark circles or anything like that, I always like to do after the foundation. And then after I talk about all this, you'll see my routine afterwards showing you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So moving on to the next color, I'm going to be talking about the mint green color. The mint green is going to cancel out any redness on your face, whether you have pimples or if you have some red veins. I know I have like a broken blood vessel right here on my nose, so you can apply the green on there To be perfectly honest, on myself, I don't really ever use the green because I never notice my redness coming through at the end of the day. So again, everybody's different, all of our skin tones are different, so what I want you guys to do is look at yourself in the mirror, see what part of your skin you want to correct, whether you have that redness or if you have those dark circles, and then you base my information on that. So the green, again, is for the redness, it's going to cancel it out. Moving on to the purple, I think this one is the most confusing for most people. The light purple color is going to cancel out any yellow tones in your skin. So if you have like that sallow looking complexion, a little bit of a yellow tint, that purple is going to really, really brighten it up. Also, if you guys have the beginning stages of a bruise, you know how sometimes it can look a little bit yellow. If you apply the purple over that, it will cancel it out. I also personally love using a purple powder to set everything. I recently picked up one by Makeup Forever, and then I also have the one by MAC. It's a purple tone, and I like to apply that actually under my eyes after I've done everything. It really, really brightens it up, so I love the purple. I think it's a really great color. For my skin, I normally never use the purple concealer, but at the end of the video, I show you guys it in action just so you can kind of see where I put it and everything like that. So next, moving on to the yellow concealer. The yellow concealer I think is more universal. It's good for all skin tones. Yellow is just going to really cancel out any purpley tones, so if you want to use that under your eyes, if you want to just kind of even out your complexion, you can kind of apply it anywhere. I personally like to use either a yellow or a salmon colored concealer basically every single day. It really just brightens up your face and it brings everything forward, so it really highlights it as well. If you guys are in the market for a good yellow concealer, those are a lot easier to find. You don't really need a bright yellow to bring out the brightness. You can use like a pale pastel yellow or even a yellow closer to your skin tone, and that will help really brighten it up. So the next color that I want to talk about is the salmon color, which is also one of my absolute favorites. I use this probably the most other than the orange. The salmon concealer is also really good for covering up dark circles, so this is a great alternative to use instead of the orange. Another recommendation I have for you guys is if you have severe dark circles under your eyes, try the orange, apply your foundation, and then apply a salmon colored concealer over that, and that'll just double the coverage. And I personally love the salmon concealers. I will list a bunch of my favorites below, that way you guys can check them out if you are interested. The last color that I'm going to talk about, I don't ever use as a concealer. I use mostly for powder, which I do show you guys again in this video. I have the Ben Nye Pretty Pink Translucent Powder. I also tried out a bunch of different brands because I was on like a huge kick of using pink powders. The pink powders you use to set the concealer, so if you find that you have those dark circles and nothing can cover them up, instead of using a translucent powder, try the pink powder because that's going to add a little bit of color as well. And the pink really helps cancel out that gray dullness, so if you find that hours after you apply your foundation and your concealer and your color correctors and all of that, you're still noticing those colors coming through, try the pink powder as well, and that's just going to help lock in and help cancel out any of that darkness underneath your eyes. So I used the pink powder today, and I actually realized how much I missed it. My under eyes are literally so bright and I don't see any of the color coming through. What's really cool is I did half of my face Drugstore and then half of my face higher end color correctors. So I did use my normal foundation, concealer, powders, and everything like that, but I did try a higher end on this side and then the Drugstore on this side. And I have to say, overall, I don't see a big difference whatsoever. So if you guys are on a budget, don't go out and spend all this crazy money on these higher end color correctors when you can get the exact same results with something a lot more affordable. Yesterday I tried out this exact technique and this exact routine just to kind of see throughout the day how it lasted, and I kept my makeup on all day and I didn't notice that one side looked better than the other. So I think overall this NYX palette is probably your best bet as far as color correcting, especially if you're a beginner and you're just trying it out. Don't feel like you need to go out and buy a huge kit like this. It's so beautiful and I wanted it because I know how to use each color. I recommend this kit if you are a makeup artist and you are working on a lot of different skin tones, but if this is just for yourself, you definitely don't need to go out and spend all this crazy money on correctors. I was very pleasantly surprised to see how well that the Drugstore correctors worked in comparison to the higher end, so I'm actually really excited to share this news with you guys, because sometimes I will try some products from the drugstore and I'll be a little bit disappointed, but as far as the correctors, I think they're amazing. So I think that's really it as far as colors. Make sure to check out the color wheel again if you ever have any problems in the future. That way you don't have to watch this entire video. You can just check out the color wheel, see which color is opposite, and then that's how you know how to neutralize the color. So if you guys want to see some of the color correctors in action, please keep watching. First up, I'm using the orange concealer to get rid of my dark circles. On my left side, which is the right side looking at the computer screen, I am applying my higher end products, and then on the left side, I'm applying my drugstore products. I just recently got this BECCA corrector. This was my first time using it. Offhand, I do notice that the LA Girl concealer is a little bit more pigmented, and it's only $3, which is just ridiculous. For the green color, I'm going to correct a little bit of the redness on my face. I'm using the Sephora Pantone palette for the right side. And again, I'm just applying this on any pimples that I have. Also, I have a little bit of redness on the sides of my nose. For the left side of my face, I'm using the NYX palette. I'm picking up that green shade and again applying it around my nose and also on any pimples on the left side of my face. Next, I'm using the lavender. As I mentioned previously, I normally don't use this color when I'm applying my foundation. Overall, I like how it looked in the end, so maybe I will start using it, but I'm just going to be applying this on the high points of my cheeks. I like using a purple powder to really brighten up my face, so I figured I'll just apply some on my cheeks just to brighten them up a bit. If you guys have any yellow discoloration on your skin, that is where you would apply the purple, but in this case, I just wanted to show you guys it in action, so I'm not really covering up anything yellow. So as you can see, as I apply each color, I'm using my beauty blender, which is a little bit damp, and I'm just pressing in the product. That way it's not leaving a thick layer on my skin, it's just a very, very thin layer. For foundation, I'm using my Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation in number 127. I'm just dotting it on my face, and then I'm going to be blending it in with my Artis Oval 8 brush. So as you can see, I'm using a very light hand and I'm not doing a lot of rubbing. You don't want to rub the product in because then it's just going to completely take away the color corrector. So with a light hand, blend in your foundation and you will see it'll cover it perfectly. You won't see it through the foundation, which is key. Moving on to concealer, I'm using this one by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's number 1.0, and I'm applying this right underneath my eyes. I am applying this in a downward triangle. If you are using an orange corrector, you want to make sure you're using a concealer that's going to cover the corrector. And when you do it in a downwards motion like this, it's going to really help bring that area forward, which is what we want because when we have darker circles, it makes our eyes look more tired, and this technique will help brighten up your face. I'm applying whatever concealer is left on my beauty blender on my eyes just to get rid of the discoloration as well. And then I am magically contouring my nose, and then I'm going in with this pretty pink powder by Ben Nye, and I explained why I like using this, especially if you have dark circles, in the beginning of my video. After you let it sit for a couple minutes, you just want to brush it off, and then I'm going in with this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and I'm just applying that all over my face just to set my foundation. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup off camera, but I wanted to show you guys how to set the color correctors. If you want, you can just leave it like this and then go on with your day, or you can continue on with the blush, the bronzer, and all of that good stuff. So I just finished up the rest of my makeup and I'm extremely happy with how the drugstore side held up as well as the higher end. So I think if you guys are just starting out with this whole color correcting thing, try the drugstore, try it out and see if you really love the outcome, and if you find that it's amazing and you want to try some other color correcting palettes, of course, it's your life, do what you want to do. But I definitely recommend the drugstore. I think they're great for anyone on a budget as well as anyone who's just trying to try these cool techniques out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you so much. And until next time, I will see you guys later.